is the largest affordable housing developer in the county with more than 9,000 rental units that residents call home. We are a formidable real estate developer with 13 projects currently in the pipeline at various stages of development, which will deliver over 3,300 units. We also have a tremendous responsibility of serving as the county's public housing authority and housing finance agency. As the Public Housing Authority, we administer a range of rental assistance programs, including the Housing Choice Voucher Program, which currently provides over 7,000 vouchers to those most critically in need. We provide resident services programs, initiatives, and training from financial literacy to credit counseling, designed to enhance the quality of life for residents in our county. We provide permanent supportive housing for veterans, individuals with disabilities, and those experiencing homelessness. We also provide youth and adult workforce and business development services through our affiliated partner, nonprofit Housing Opportunity Community Partners. As the Housing Finance Agency, HOC issues governmental, private activity, 501c3 and taxable bonds, providing critical multifamily financing to the tune of over $560 million to date. We also provide roughly $30 to $40 million in single-family mortgages financing per year, as well as $2.5 million in closing cost assistance annually. We get the job done. I am personally humbled and honored to be a part of this beautiful legacy moment for you and your family. This exceptional new affordable senior housing development features state-of-the-art amenities, supportive community environment, providing comfortable, accessible living for our seniors. The Leggett is the second phase of a three-phase Elizabeth Square revitalization project, which delivers on the county's key priority of providing more affordable housing for seniors. This community is a 267 mixed income, mixed use, and multi-generational, say that fast, community that sets a standard for modern, affordable housing for county residents 62 years of age and older. And we're moving residents from our current Elizabeth House, which you may see to your right, which is also HOC's last public housing development, to our beautiful new Leggett. This building features an integrated Holy Cross hospital-affiliated wellness center, and with the help of now County Council member Gabe Albernez's support, who was the head of the recreational department at the time, adjacent to the building is the 133,000 square foot South County Regional Recreational Center that will include many amenities: a public Olympic size pool, recreational facilities, a basketball court, fitness centers, and much, much more for the entire community.
As always, and for all of my colleagues inside of the work, County Exec and this remarkable County Council, thank you so much for your leadership. Thank you so much for all of the support you continue to give. It's also, as always, good to be here with my partner inside the work, our spectacular Lieutenant Governor Aruna Miller. Who always reminds me every day, she's like, we're going to Montgomery County today, it's going to be a good day. So it sure is, LG. And also, I'd be remiss if I didn't also say how wonderful it is to see Jamie Raskin here in such great health. Sir, you have prayer angels all around you. All around you, that continue to surround you. And we are so happy not just to see you here, but we are so happy to be in your presence again. God bless you. God bless you. And I do also just want to start by acknowledging and thanking the Housing Opportunities Commission of Montgomery County for your work. Oh, another one?
Let's try this.
All right.
Hold on, we got to get it right.
Oh, we're switching? Okay.
Let's see if that does it.
All right. Is this better? Yes. Okay, good. Thank you so much.
Here we go.
For all the work on this beautiful project, because this project is important. Because what this project is going to do is going to ensure that our seniors, ensure that our older adults have somewhere that is safe and somewhere that is affordable to call home. Safe and affordable. This is a project that honors our commitment to building our affordable housing and building affordable housing that actually does not just provide shelter, but also provides opportunity and it provides essential services that all of our seniors are going to need and that they deserve. That this is a project that sets a standard for future initiatives designed to lift communities and everyone that is in them. That if we're serious about building a Maryland that leaves no one behind, we mean no one. And when we're serious about building a future that leaves no one behind and a state that leaves no one behind, it means that our older adults and our seniors must be seen and supported in that movement as well. And so that means investing in low-income communities. That means investing in affordable housing. And I'm very proud of the fact that in the first 106 days of the Moore Miller administration, that we've been able to move quickly on these issues. And that means things like securing $55 million to build more affordable housing units in our state, and we are just getting started. And while that's powerful and exciting, that's not the only reason why I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to be here today at the Leggett. Because this is a celebration. This is a celebration of legacy. It's a celebration of love. It's a celebration of partnership. It's a celebration of impact. It's a celebration of what it means to lift up not just Montgomery County, but lift up this entire state and lift up this entire country. It means taking the word public servant, words public servant, seriously. And that's exactly what you have done, Mr. County Executive. I first had the honor of being the county executive back in 2006. I was actually just coming back from Afghanistan and just coming back from serving overseas with the 82nd Airborne, and I was selected as a White House Fellow. And White House Fellowship, it's a program that is a bipartisan program where we are able to, work on a nonpartisan basis with, cabinet secretaries and elected officials. So when I came back from Afghanistan, I met this gentleman, and with the White House Fellowship program, you had a chance to sit with cabinet secretaries and have lunch with the president and do all this kind of stuff. And you had these meetings, and they were really good, and it was a great opportunity. And there were some that actually really meant something. There were some meetings that stuck with you. And I think about this meeting that we had back in 2006 with this Army veteran, this public servant, this person who was serving his community on a local level, but making national waves in the way he was doing it. And a person who didn't just say that he would take this meeting because it was a nice thing to do, but understood the importance of the program because he was a White House Fellow himself. That person was Ike Leggett. And it was a person who did not just become someone who I admired and respected because of his service. He's someone who became a role model. He's someone who became an ally. He's someone who became a friend. He's someone who, even when we were going through the whole campaign for governor, would continue to remind me, if the only thing they say about you at the end of your time is that you were the first, is that you missed the whole point. He's someone who understood that when we're running elections, I'm a say it, County Exec, you don't just run to the tape, you run through the tape. That was my favorite. But he was also someone who understood at the core of what we do, that at our time, when it's our time to run this race, you make sure that you have left something behind for others, and you make sure you've left it all on the field. And that's what you've done. This is not just a celebration of good work. And it's not just a celebration of necessary work, work that is going to support our seniors and our older adults, work that is going to support families, work that's going to make sure that every single person has a chance to be seen and heard. It's a celebration of what impact actually looks like. And I could not think of a more appropriate namesake for a building that's going to bring so much joy and love and light to our communities than calling it the Leggett. I want to thank you, and I want to thank our remarkable First Lady, by the way, Madam First Lady. Because also, I think we were all very clear that, sir, you have been incredibly impactful, incredibly powerful, and we know where your power comes from. But I also just want to thank you both for being such wonderful and loving and kind friends to myself and Dawn, and ambassadors to our entire state. Literally, the first dinner that I had after I became the governor inside the State House was with you, County Executive. And I was like, all right, what do I do now? But we are so grateful for the leadership you continue to show for all of us. We are better because of you. This county and this state will be better because of the Leggett. And we will continue to show, this building will continue to show that our state can be bold, our state can move fast, and our state can see everybody. And that's why we're going to win this decade. So God bless you, congratulations, and thank you all so much for having me.
I'm really excited to be here. A couple of things I want to note. Ike is going to create a major problem for GPS systems, because if you type in Leggett and Silver Spring, you're going to wind up with two buildings. So people are going to have to be really clear about where they're going when they do that first search, because they're going to be confused otherwise. This is exciting to be here for this, and I know Ike always would say he enjoyed groundbreakings, but the ribbon cuttings were really where it was at. And this is true, this is really where it's at, because a lot of things can happen from when you put something in the ground to when you get to the end of the story. And we were successful here. This project got completed, it got completed right, and I'm really excited about it. And I think, people need to be excited about what's happening in Montgomery County. Last week we were at the Forest Glen Metro Station. 189 affordable units going up over there, and a redevelopment of an existing property. I don't know how many people know about the partnership we have with HOC in Emery Grove, where 500 units are going to get built to restore an historic black community that was displaced by urban removal. I meant urban renewal, but we know what it is. Urban removal. And they were victims of that, and we're putting this place back together. We're doing projects now, and I really appreciate HOC, the relationship we've been building with HOC, and I will be blunt, the change in HOC's direction over the last few years is remarkable. I'm really grateful for the partnership that we've developed, and we've got a lot of things we're going to be doing together, so this is good news. I also want to thank the governor for Jake Day. He met with myself and our staff yesterday. We're going to do a tour of manufactured housing to see if we can find some candidates, because if we can bring the price of housing down under $250 a square foot and find how we can do things, building affordable housing won't be a fantasy. It'll be something that we can do normally. And so I appreciate his interest in doing things different and thinking outside the box. And we're not going to get out of this if we're not willing to think outside the box. So thank you very much. So, a lot of people said a lot about this project that people wrote for me to say, so I'm not going to repeat everything that was said. But I do want to acknowledge, particularly in this case, the no net loss. One of the things we've been trying to do with developments is to have no net loss of affordable housing. We have too much in Montgomery County where we allow somebody to tear down hundreds of affordable units and replace them with thousands of unaffordable units and get fewer affordable units at the end of the day than we started with. That's a practice that this county has to stop. It is time to end the nonsense. You can't talk about an affordable housing crisis and then do more for the unaffordable than you do for the affordable. And this project is an example of more than a one-for-one replacement, just like the project of Forest Glen was more than a one-for-one replacement of affordable units. And that's really important for the county. Building a building with integrated services, particularly the healthcare piece, is a big deal. We talk about serving seniors often. It's just as we talk about serving low-income communities, but we often don't put in the services that people need to be successful, or services that address the needs that people have. And this building is going to have the services that people who live here are going to need. And I think that makes it unique, and it makes it incredibly valuable to us in the county. I want to acknowledge HOC's 14,000 units that are either leased or administered by HOC. That is the major player in affordable housing in Montgomery County. And the rentals in this building are going to be between $1,161 and $2,096 per month. You'd be hard put to find these numbers in Montgomery County. You would not find them in Bethesda unless they happen to, but you won't even find the 1161 in Bethesda in an MPDU, but you might find the 2096 in an MPDU. So having these units in this building is really important. I want to thank Holy Cross, if somebody's here from Holy Cross, for their partnership in this. Thank you. And I want to close by saying, a couple of weeks, we were at an event with the Green Bank on climate change, and the governor came to that as well. You're very welcome to come to Montgomery County often. It's easy to get to, even without a rocket train, so we're easily accessible. And it was a celebration of putting I think it's the largest solar project in the state on an affordable housing development, and it's in Montgomery County. Not a small thing that we managed to accomplish. But you said something that I really cherished. It said, this is a time when we see that Montgomery County is going to lead. There are certain places that are right now debating about what progress looks like. They're in the process of figuring out, well, how do we get there? And then there's Montgomery County saying, we'll see you at the finish line. And that's exactly what we intend to do. I've told the governor, I've told people at the federal level, if you give us money, we're not going to wonder about it. We're not interested in doing studies. Every dollar we get in this county is a dollar we can put to something useful. We know what to do. We just need the resources to do it. And having a partner that understands that is really good. So I really do appreciate your leadership. So today we're celebrating this important step forward, and we're celebrating what you can do if you think outside the box. And again, I want to thank Ike, because your leadership, you were the one that put this together, and the Lee family, frankly. Doesn't happen without both of you. And the decision to co-locate the housing and the rec center, community center, and the Lee family's participation in the deal made it possible. And it's nice to be able to envision something and then be able to see it happen. I will say our challenge in Montgomery County is to be able to go from envisioning to seeing in something less than 6-7 years, right? We should be able to envision and see in a 2 to 3 year time frame, and that's what we've got to figure out how we get to here. But thank you so much for your leadership on this. And I'll go back to the beginning of your administration when I came in with you. You had done a housing study, and I asked you to do another housing study, and I asked you to involve the tenant community, which was not included in the first study. And instead of explaining away what the first study was, you said, let's form a second study group, and let's look at the problem of affordability from the perspective of the residents of this community and the tenants in this community. And I've always appreciated you for doing that, because it opened up doors for us to look at things differently. So thank you very much. And it's fitting that this is here to honor you, and I understand you said it should be the Ike. So if there's ever a mood for a rapid rename. But I would just thank you very much. Thank the governor. Thank everybody who made this happen. Thank you so much. And I look forward to working with you.
We've had Leisure World, and now we have Leggett World, too. Okay? And that's something to celebrate, okay? That is something to celebrate. The Ike Leggett public philosophy is something to celebrate. Ike showed us that government must be an instrument of the well-being of all the people, and devoted himself every day to that. And, to those of us who live here in Montgomery County or in Maryland, now with Governor Moore at the helm, that might seem kind of like a truism, like a banal thing to say, that government must be an instrument of well-being. But I served for 4 years under a president, okay, whose philosophy was that government must be an instrument of private self-enrichment of the president and the administration. And, that's the way government works in a lot of parts of the world, in a lot of parts of our country. The people who get into office are there to serve themselves. And so I don't want us to pass without remarking upon the beauty of Ike Leggett's example and what has been created over the decades in Montgomery County. That our government is devoted to the common good of the people. It has been, it is, and it always will be. And if you forgive me just for saying a word for the Biden-Harris administration and for the Democrats in Congress with the American Rescue Act, with the CARES Act, with the Infrastructure Act, we too have made the investment in housing that is making these kinds of projects possible, not just in Maryland, but all around the country today. For me, this is a great day of celebration. And I do want to say, as a great fan of Catherine Leggett, this building is not called the Ike, it's called the Leggett. Okay? Just as Ike demonstrated to us that in a democracy, those of us who aspire and attain a public office are nothing but the servants of the people, Catherine Leggett has shown us through her example that in a democracy, the very highest office of all is the office of citizen, and no one has fulfilled her duties as a citizen better than Catherine Leggett. Thank you guys very much.
So thank you, Governor. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Thank you, Congressman. There are 4 county executives here, 2 current, 2 former, many former council members. I think every single one of my council member colleagues are here, members of the state delegation. And we're here for 2 reasons. We all love affordable housing, and we all love the Leggetts. You've heard how important this project is. And I'm not going to repeat all of that, but to have a community such as this in downtown Silver Spring, one of the most diverse communities in the entire country, a community that is becoming more expensive to live, a community that is on the metro, that is on the Marc, that has bike lanes right outside, that has walkable communities throughout. That is why this project is so incredibly important, because we want to continue building on those assets. We want to continue welcoming people from across the country, from across the world, here to Montgomery County, here to Maryland. And it is Mr. Leggett, through his 28 years in serving in elected office in Montgomery County, that opened up those doors, creating policies that were inclusive, diverse, a leadership style where you could disagree without being disagreeable. A tradition we need to bring back to American politics, particularly, right? But it is that legacy that is manifest itself
personified itself right here in the Leggett, where your legacy of opening doors for people around the world will allow people to come in through these doors here in downtown Silver Spring. And for that, the Leggetts, Catherine Leggett, Ike Leggett, whatever the building will be called, and I agree with the county executive that it is going to cause some trouble with Waze. So if there are any tech people here, we got to get to the bottom of that. But the beautiful legacy through elected leadership, the beautiful legacy through this building, and most importantly, through your policies of welcoming people. That is what this is going to be. And so thank you for your love, your leadership. Thank you, everybody. We're going to continue to build upon these policies, because the best way to build housing that is affordable is by building housing. And we have to continue that charge. So thank you all very much.
But the other selling point, not just because of you, Ike, but because of the reason for Elizabeth House. Elizabeth Lee Skoll, Councilwoman Elizabeth Lee Skoll, was family. Simply Aunt Betty to Bruce. The Lee family, you know that story. They discovered the spring. Yeah, that spring. The Silver Spring. And later on built Lee Plaza office building. Discovery thought that was a great location, so they built right across the street. So it's a good place. But they gave their daughter to become a councilwoman, a champion of low-income residents and seniors. I'm partial to seniors. A woman who was honored by the county and the Housing Opportunities Commission when they built and named that building, Elizabeth House. Bruce saw the way to keep that memory alive by joining an LDG property, our property, to complete the block that began in the 1970s with Elizabeth House, to create more modern apartment living for seniors. Bruce was here for the topping out. Really nice building. But that was July of 2021. And he died just a few weeks ago.
And now we all know that if you want to have a great party, invite Ike and Catherine. I mean, what a turnout to celebrate a great person. You know, the one thing that I have learned about Ike over the years that characterizes him is that Ike is the most humble person that I've never known who has been in the flagship positions that he has held in this county. He is the most humble man that I've ever met in that regard. And when the commissioners decided to name this property after you, Ike, we were concerned not about making a decision. Will he let us do it? Will he agree to let his name be associated with this property? And so we are so happy that you agreed to do this and that we were able to do this. And it's also fitting that Elizabeth House, the first HOC building named after a person, we follow the legacy with naming the second building after you, Ike. So we want to acknowledge him. Now, under Ike Leggett's leadership as the county executive from 2006 to 2018, Montgomery County expanded affordable housing funding, invested in countless county-wide measures to improve the quality of life of senior adults. Specifically, Leggett is credited with commissioning a task force for a county-wide study about the plight of seniors. And thanks to his support of the task force recommendations, life for seniors adults dramatically improved. What were some of those improvements? Communication and public outreach tools were redesigned to be more effectively engaged seniors. Robust efforts to increase and enhance educational, volunteer, and employment opportunities for the 50-plus population of the county. 17 senior housing projects were initiated When complete, a total of 2,100 rental units, including approximately 1,700 units affordable to seniors, will be preserved or created through his leadership. Many believe that Ike's most noteworthy accomplishment was protecting the county's long-term finances after the Great Recession in 2008. Because of his leadership, the county ultimately increased its reserves from $79 million to $500 million and protected its AAA bond rating. With a strengthened county economy, Ike expanded more classroom spaces for students, improved the educational fabric of our country, and also maintained a tremendous commitment to affordable housing that led to the construction of projects like the Leggett. The programs at Leggett either created or enhanced are providing much needed services to those who need them the most. His legacy ensures the well-being of county residents for generations to come. You know, this is a first, but Ike is used to first. Ike was the #1 graduate in his class at law school. And we must say Howard University. He was also the first African-American county commissioner, councilman. He's also the first African-American county executive. So Ike is used to first.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. I am honored to be here. More importantly, I thank God that I'm able to hear all of this standing vertically. I was asked in a program recently in the District of Columbia. Someone said, I understand they are named a building after you in Silver Spring called the Leggett's. I said, well, you know, if I had my choice, I would have simply said, the Ike. They said, why would you say that? Because there are lots of Ikes, people will get confused. I said, no. I said, if you name the Ike in Montgomery County, no one would be confused. And Marc related the point of you go to GPS and it looks difficult to find because you can find another Leggett popping up as well. But the difference is the other building at the community college here is called the Catherine and Ike Leggett. Appropriately so. Let me thank our governor, lieutenant governor for both being here. When you have a governor who spends as much time getting out on the road, meeting people, touching the flesh, understanding the challenges and difficulties that we face, and delivering first 100 days. That's a remarkable achievement. You may say that, you know, he had a lot of momentum going in. Yes, he did. But it takes an awful lot of leadership to deal with a large General Assembly, all of the challenges and needs throughout this great state. In our team, our governor, and my lieutenant governor have truly delivered. Let's give another round of applause for us. I'm here, and this honor really does not go simply to me. I stand on the shoulders of people who have passed away, giants. The Sid and Betty Mae Pramers passed away. Roscoe Nix, Handler Number, Gladys Young, Rudy, Odessa Shannon, and so many others. This is not just an honor for me, but it's an honor for all of those who preceded me. This has been a difficult challenge over the years to serve in Montgomery County, and I often do not talk about this. But I remember I was leaving office, the county council honored me, and George Leventhal, one of the council members, said, you know, Ike has been quite humble about the challenges and difficulties he faced as, quote, being at first. and he made a remark about some of the challenges that he had noticed. The fact that when I first ran for office in Montgomery County, for the first 6 months, there was no photograph of Ike Leggett on the photograph, on the campaign literature. And all the negative challenges that I went through. I wanted to demonstrate to this county that we had an opportunity to be more inclusive, a better and more expansive level of leadership that could deliver. This building and so many other things that we've heard about and talked about today, I think is a reflection of that. My motto has really been the following, and I get this from the late Hubert Humphrey, who said, the real test of a community, of a society, is how you treat those in the dawn of life, the twilight of life, and the shadows of life. Think about that. That means the young, that means the elderly, and that means people who are challenged either because of poverty, because of race, because of some form of challenge developmentally. That is what we try to do. And I think that I've done that to the degree that you believe that I have, with the help and support of many of my former colleagues who are here, people who served on the county council, the days in the county council, the staff led by Steve Farber and so many others who helped along the way. And more importantly, in my administration, headed by Tim Feinstein, one of the most outstanding leaders you can find, and a remarkable team of leaders. This is a reflection of all of that. And people outside of government who helped along the way. The Larry Rosenblum who helped me to get here today. The Barbara Goldberg Goldman. And some people who are here now still helping us. Jackie Simon, who I met many, many years ago in many of those fights. And of course, Rick Nelson, who's also now on the HOC board. All of those help in that regard. But there was another level of help, much closer to me, that I think you should understand and see. That is a person led by my wife, Catherine Sharp Leggett. Thank you for that. Other members of our family, our daughter, Yumina, please stand right here. In fact, you know what? We're also in partnership with Holy Cross. She was actually born at Holy Cross. And my sister, who is here somewhere, Dr. Susan Piggott-Johnson. You know, I'm one of 13. I'm the 7th. Susan Johnson is the last. She's the 13th. Thank you. And of course, all of my family members, my grandkids, and other relatives, please stand. Thank you. I will not hold you long, but I simply wanted to acknowledge all the people who helped make this possible. As I said before, the council staff, my days there, the time that I served as county executive and all the work there, and all the people who helped me get here. But I also want to thank the members of the county council today. They are faced with some challenges that are unbelievable, trying to reconcile the great difficulties that we have in our budgets. But I can tell you this, for all the time that I've served in county government, all the time that I've been involved in this county, I have yet to meet a person who is in service of our county who's not been supportive of education, who's not been supportive of affordable housing, regardless of what you may think about their leadership. Every person throughout that entire span has been really focused on affordable housing. There are challenges, and we have not met all of those challenges. But believe me, the men and women who serve you today, from our county executive, every one of the council members, and everyone that have served before, recognize that and are fighting to make sure they resolve. Thanks again, County Executive Elrich, for being here in your leadership, and Devin and all of you, and so many others. But the person who I think has really amplified what I think in terms of leadership, a person who I think, when you look at him across the board, who has been such a dominant force in not only our state but our national level, who was here, that really lifted my heart today, because I know the challenges that he's had recently, but I know how difficult it may have been for him to get here today. And when I saw him today, I said, you know, this is public service. This is truly a remarkable leader. And that's Jamie Raskin. The Marriage Center and the person who's been leading that charge and has been such a keen advisor for me on affordable housing, Barbara Goldberg, thank you for all your work and help. Please sit there. Understand there will be a reception, and if you see that there is Louisiana or Southern food, they just guessed how to prepare it. God bless all of you for being here. I am so appreciative for all that you've done, but this is really a true reflection of the leadership involved in so many people that I've served here, so many people on the staff, from the state, local governments, and for so many others. Thank you, HOC, and thank all of you. God bless you all. Thank you.
1,